Molo Sanbonani, hello, how's it? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Vuka Nazo. This, the Wednesday edition of the show. My name is Cyril Ramaphosa, aka Big Daddy Liberty. And if you're watching this show, well, that means, of course, that if you've hit that like button, I hope, whether you're watching this simulcast on Facebook or on YouTube, do me a favor, please hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube in particular, well, subscribe. Join the BDL family who are beginning to grow my numbers on there. I think there's 37,700 now. So I've seen a growth of about 300 since the beginning of this year. Thank you for that. You are helping do that. Now, if you've done that, of course, well, then find us also on our website at bigdaddyliberty.com. There, of course, you can pledge some support towards the channel, as something as small as 50 Rand a month to 100 Rand a month is what people are contributing every month to help us do this liberty advocacy work. Now, with that out of the way, enough with the jibber jabber, let's get straight into the news. Okay, I begin here this morning. Feedback. I did warn you, I did mention this in previous episodes of Vuka Nazo. There is a growing discontent, a civil unrest that is brewing in this country. I did warn that places like Phoenix, you'll remember we covered that on an earlier edition of the show, a community up in arms violently protesting after residents in that part of the world indicate that they'd been without power for more than 40 hours, and some even claiming in excess of 2 weeks. Not only protesting that declining standard of living, but also going after the state for the load shedding. The load shedding which now, as things stand, Eskom miraculously is bringing us down to stage 4 of that nonsense, but effectively still blackouts in this country. Now, I did mention that Phoenix and those visuals I showed you of Phoenix would be just the beginning, if not the one example that we have now seen. And I did warn that we're going to see these flash in the pan incidents across the country. And indeed, reports have come in thick and fast in that regard. More civil unrest in places like Witbank, Parys, and Kroonstad. Let me show you some of those images of Kroonstad yesterday, which basically descended into all hell, where residents basically were fed up with load shedding and a declining level of standard of living. You can see those people taking to the streets, more violent scenes coming out of Parys. I'll have those images on the screen for you, where a mayor's house in that particular world was actually even burnt to the ground. And why? Because people are fed up and indeed angry at what I told you would happen, is the unhappiness and indeed anger at the declining standards of living and the load shedding. Trust you me, I've said this once and I'll say it again. When this pops off, it pops the F off. And what you need to do is be prepared and make sure that you can weather the growing civil unrest and very well may be widespread civil unrest, especially as you see it brewing on social media with talks of a, quote, national shutdown. So with that being said, keep an eye, keep an eye out on this one and keep our ears close to the ground, because I said it once and I'll say it again, something very sinister and violent is brewing, and that unhappiness, maybe this time, will be directed at the politicians who fail people. All right, I take you now to the South Gauteng High Court, indeed Johannesburg, on this particular issue where, as you'll know, Cyril Ramaphosa had brought to court an urgent interdict against Jacob Zuma. Yeah, that's right, you heard that right. The former president of the ANC is effectively challenging or taking on in court the current president of the ANC. Huh? Again, putting paid any story of the ANC being united and renewing itself. These people hate each other, and you're seeing it in the fact that they're fighting brutal legal battles against each other, and that's if they're not even killing each other, as is the case in Mkondo municipality in Mpumalanga, where of course, There's accusations of ANC members killing each other over patronage and corrupt tenders. But nonetheless, that's not the story here. Let's come to this version of ANC infighting, which is between Cyril Ramaphosa and Zuma. Zuma basically wants to take Ramaphosa to court, accusing him of not intervening in the NPA in a matter of the NPA coming after Jacob Zuma by way of the prosecutor, Billy Downer. Huh? I did sort of do a episode on this previously. I'll put that image on the screen. Check it out so you'll see exactly why I argued back then, and I'll still argue now, that I don't really understand the arguments being made by Jacob Zuma, asking effectively for Ramaphosa to intervene in the NPA, and his failure to do so prompting him to effectively accuse Ramaphosa of being an accessory after the fact. Doesn't quite make sense to me, and perhaps to the judges also didn't make sense, with the judges ruling in favor of Cyril Ramaphosa. Now, the Zuma Foundation, of course, has reacted to another nosebleed where the courts or the judges gave Jacob Zuma another bitch slap. Yeah, that's back, across the face. The Zuma Foundation, as I mentioned, responding, I took this from an IOL piece, which basically wrote it up as follows. Now, on Monday, a full bench of judges in the Johannesburg High Court granted Ramaphosa an urgent interdict, meaning Ramaphosa will not have to appear in a criminal court on Thursday, that's tomorrow. In handing down judgment, Gauteng Deputy Judge President Roland Sutherland said the court had found the urgency had been proved by Ramaphosa's lawyers, granting him an urgent interdict. Now, of course, in response, the henchman for the Zuma Foundation, a one Jimmy Manyi, yeah, I'm calling you Jimmy, not Mzwanele. But anyway, I'm just kidding. Mzwanele Manyi said he's disappointed but not surprised by the court decision, quoted as saying, "It's now very clear that our justice system will do anything in their considerable power to protect Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa," end of quote. And of course, that line is absolute poppycock, because when they win something in court, oh, the justice system is fantastic. The courts are, oh, totally transformed. Everything is great. But when they lose something in court, well, you know, that untransformed apartheid system, colonial, yada, yada, court, blah, 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 blah. Politicians being politicians, we're sick of that. Here's the bottom line here, my takeaway from this particular incident. Don't be dribbled by this particular infighting between these two. In the grand scheme of things, it's meaningless to yours and my quality of life. The real battle is not the ANC infighting, but effectively us, the ordinary faith, flag, family, and freedom type South Africans battling the ANC, the EFF, and indeed any and all political types who hold the sort of terrible leftist ideas that they hold. It is us versus those politicians. That's the real fight. Ignore the shenanigans in court and focus. Keep an eye on 2024. All right, we're going to end it off here this morning with a reminder of a certain Durban mayor, failed Durban mayor, who also moonlights as a equally terrible musician. Yeah, that douchebag. The same guy who told us over the festive season that we need to pile into the Durban oceans, which are chock-a-block of human feces and indeed E. coli levels. Yeah, that same dude who effectively then took a plunge in that same, let's call it brown water. Well, he decided, no. After telling Durbanites to swim in that feces-infested water, no, he decided he's going to pristine, clean Cape Town to spend his festive season there. Now, where do I get this from? I get it from a Hogarth piece, which of course is often in the Sunday Times. Let me quickly read from that. Now, the failed musician masquerading as mayor of eThekwini is a living legend. So after the beaches of the city of which he is the first citizen were contaminated with poo, and he told all and sundry that all is well, he apparently went on holiday without a care in the world to Cape Town. This is the kind of hypocrisy to be expected from a buffoon who, at the height of the July 2021 unrest with Durban burning, publicly stated his support for the Nkandla crooner who was in jail at the time for contempt of court. End of quote. Yeah, that's right. That's the level of hypocrisy, rightly spotted by Hogarth, that we endure with these annoying politicians who we call our leaders in this country. It's rules for thee, and terrible shitty water for thee, and pristine wonderful Cape Town for them, or wonderful high rate first world living for them. It's absolutely unsurprising, and indeed warrants why we gave this douchebag the Moomish of the week last time. Guys, stop voting for people like this. All right, that's it from us here at the Vuka Nazo Morning Show. I hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, if you like how we start your day, well then visit our friends at the Daily Friend. They come to you Mondays to Thursday on their YouTube channel and indeed give you the analysis that can help you end your news day. And again, if you like what we do here, a reminder to you, hit that like button please, and of course subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget to visit us please on our website at bigdaddyliberty.com. That being said, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow on Vuka Nazo.